Welcome back for another episode of the Fitness Business Podcast. Boxing gyms are quickly becoming one of the hottest fitness trends. So we have Keith Keppner, owner of Keppner Boxing, with us today to give us some perspective about starting a boxing business. On October 18th of 2021, the Fitness Business Podcast released a show entitled TikTok and Your Gym Marketing with Kenya Kelly. This show has been on fire since we released it, and I've had so many of our FitBiz family tell me how much they've learned from this episode. If you haven't already, make sure you check out this episode. It's number 392, and find out what all the buzz is about. I'm your host, Dory Nugent, and today is a good day to have a good day, FBP family, and I want to thank you for joining me. Co-founder of Keppner Boxing, Keith Keppner, delivers a fantastic show that will get you thinking about the ins and outs of starting a boxing business. With having 6 franchise locations, Keith knows a few things about starting a boxing business. Today's episode will start in less than 2 minutes. Keppner is sponsoring our show today, so let's hear a few words from them.
This podcast is brought to you by Keppner. Keppner is a cutting-edge membership management solution prioritizing insane engagement. Keppner puts your brand first so you can facilitate deep, meaningful connections with clients and members to book, pay, consume content, and build community. Keppner partners with fitness brands in both the boutique and big box segments that want to drive efficient operations and maximum engagement with clients and members. And they do this by providing direct world-class support with a passionate team who cares about your success. To see how you can transform your brand, go to Keppner.com and ask for a demonstration. Keppner, engineered for engagement.
Keppner is doing great things, so check them out at www.keppner.com.
Get your pen ready now for Keep Me's Fit Bizpiration.
What are your 3 tips to launching a boxing business?
I would say, first off, realize what it is that you want to accomplish with it. Do you want to just have a side business, a side hustle, something that's going to maybe support itself? Or do you want something that's actually going to be like what I have, where it is my whole source of income? Okay, so you have to start off deciding what that's going to be. Find some people or some resources that are going to help show you the way. Don't try to reinvent the wheel until you've literally hit the peak that is above everyone else. Do you need to create your own thing? You probably need a model, especially in the beginning. And then last thing is commit to doing whatever you're going to be doing when you start your business for at least 5 years. It's going to take about 5 years for you to get any real traction. I see too many business owners start off with their boxing gym or even fitness gym, and they throw in the towel in a year or 2 years into it. And all the gold and all the reward is about 5 years down the line.
Hey, exciting news, FBP family. Next week, we bring Pete Peranio onto the show, and he's going to discuss about becoming an entrepreneur by building a fitness business that runs without you. After this week's episode, I'll introduce you to Pete so you can get a sneak peek into his episode.
Health club leaders, you work hard to ensure your members have the very best fitness experience, right? You need personal trainers who do the same. Become a preferred partner with ISSA, and we'll deliver the best trainers in the industry to your club in a matter of days, fully certified and ready to work. And we'll help you keep those trainers by offering them exclusive discounted pricing on ISSA certifications. Because when your trainers stay, so do your valued members. Becoming a preferred partner with ISSA is absolutely free. Click above or visit issaonline.com/fitbiz to get trainers now.
Let's transition into this week's interview with industry expert Keith Keppner. Keith Keppner is our industry expert today. Keith is the co-founder of Keppner Boxing. Keith, welcome to the Fitness Business Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Dory.
Yeah, first time on the show. We love our first time, so welcome to the family.
Thank you.
All right, and you have a boxing gym, and it looks like you're up to 6 franchise partners.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, you started Yeah, you are growing quickly. Just tell me a little bit. You started out in Athens, Georgia.
Yep. So up in North Georgia, the home of UGA. And yeah, we started off as just a mom and pop style business and grew it to a pretty large scale where we could step out of it, and then started offering franchises in the middle of the pandemic.
All right. So you definitely found your niche in the fitness industry, and we love that. Tell me a little bit about the other co-founder.
Yes. So, we're a husband-wife business. My wife, Lissa Keppner, she fought 22 fights in Muay Thai, MMA, kickboxing, and boxing. So really every type of combat sport. And it was her skills combined with my skills that made this business work and grow. And it was, I remember when we were first starting out, she was saying like, oh, we need to just focus purely on boxing. And that's what my background is, purely boxing. I was like, well, how about maybe, people are asking for a little bit of kickboxing, a little bit of Muay Thai, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And she's like, no, let's focus on one thing and get really good at it. And that's what we've done.
I love the fact that partnerships work best when two people have two different strengths. And it sounds like that you and your wife
big time
recognized that and brought it together to become a powerhouse.
Oh, big time. So, I mean, like the joke is, or, the facts are that she would have a really, really strong, super, super small business if she goes to her inclinations. And I would grow a very big business that was literally probably like rotting from the inside or just very unstable.
Well, we brought you on today to talk about boxing. So let's get started with our first question. The boxing fitness, the fitness end of it, is it really for everyone, or is it just for a specific group or age group?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. And an important distinction is, boxing versus kickboxing. So let's just talk purely about boxing. Is it for everyone? It absolutely is for everybody. One reason that I make a distinction with kickboxing is that kickboxing, don't get me wrong, great combat sport, great sport, and great workout. The challenge with that can be you're going up on one foot. So it can be challenging for people with balance issues. It's also can be hard on your lower back, your sacrum, your shins, things of that nature, because you don't have gloves on your shins and whatnot. So that's where boxing really, it can serve everyone from young kids as a great type of one-on-one or small group training, onward and upwards to even people with Parkinson's. We've had a Parkinson's program for going on 6-7 years now, and that's something that's become fairly popular. But one reason it's become so popular is because you can really make it accessible to such a wide variety of people. We have a lot of people that come to us that maybe did some other type of martial art before, and their body just can't handle it anymore. And they find that boxing is the perfect way for them to get that outlet without damaging their body.
All right. Well, I love the fact you talked about Parkinson's. I have seen that around a little bit with different clubs starting the Parkinson's program. I think that's genius.
Oh, it's amazing. It's a phenomenal group, and it's a real great service.
Yeah. And I also really like your points about kickboxing versus boxing and the balance factor. And you're right about being on one foot and people maybe being, especially the older population, I know they have to work on balance, but sometimes they're a little intimidated going into a kickboxing class.
Oh, yeah. And so everyone knows this is a common misconception, is that boxing is only an upper body workout. And when done right and correctly, absolutely not. Even throwing a punch involves your legs, much, of course, a movement and all that other stuff. But even just throwing a punch, if done right, is not just an arm activity or upper body activity.
Right. It's a lot like swinging a baseball bat.
That's right. It's just like it. Exactly.
The legs and the hips and the upper body to get the power. So
that's right.
Understand where you're coming from that. So great point. So with being our expert again today, can you please tell everybody out there listening, maybe break it into two, like what is right with the current boxing models out there and what's wrong with the current boxing models that are out there?
Absolutely, Dory. So that's a great question. Really, there's two main types of structures out there with business, with boxing. And that's, you have the authentic boxing gym, which is how we started. Think of the movie Rocky, right? If you think of a boxing gym, classic boxing gym, that's what that is. And then you have the fitness boxing gym. So they're kind of two extremes of that concept. So the authentic boxing gym, it has a lot of positive points that you really oftentimes learn the art and the science of boxing. You build real character. It's a really nice, tight-knit community. And then the advantages with the fitness boxing is that it's, they got great service, really customer oriented. They're good at signing people up and things like that. But there's a few places where both of those models struggle. One is with retention, Both of them really churn through clients pretty quickly, because if you're only doing, one way to think about it is just fitness wearing boxing gloves, you get pretty bored and you move on to another modality, whether it's like rowing or, a spin class or something like that. And then, because you only get so and so much results over about maybe 3 or 4 months. And then with the authentic boxing gym, there's a big barrier to entry. It's really hard for them to sign people up. It's hard to get, frankly, to have people just walk through the door. And then there's also a scalability challenge. And that is that oftentimes those businesses are based off of one expert or one good boxing coach. And then once that person goes or retires or whatever, the business is gone and it doesn't exist anymore.
You mean like Mickey in the...
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And that's what I was raised around. So my father's a professional boxing coach. He's also a PhD in neuroscience, clinical psychologist. So I got an interesting mix there. And he thought that the only type of boxing gym you could have was that pure competitive boxing gym, only focused on creating pros, blood on the wall. If you couldn't hang and fight the first day, you didn't belong. So that's where I grew up around that, thinking that was the only way it could be done. And I thought the only other way was the watered down fitness, just wearing boxing gloves while you like hit a bag and don't really learn anything.
So tell me, if I walked into Keppner Boxing, what am I going to experience?
Well, so we, again, really focused on getting the best of those both worlds. So the moment you walk through, a really warm hello, we get on that first name basis right away. And then we tell everybody, because it's the truth, we love beginners, because even if Dory, even if you wanted to do a competitive fight or something like that, we would prefer to have you at 0, no experience, so we can teach you the basics from the beginning, no matter what level you want to get to. And so we'll give you a demo on your basics, just going over some basic punches in your stance. And then we love to give people a first session free, just to have them experience the community. And it's just a really infectious, positive, yet sincere environment.
Okay. And tell me aesthetically, what does it look like? Is there a ring in there? Is it just a whole bunch of boxing bags? Do you have any equipment?
Yeah. So the main core is there. That's one thing of the beautiful things about the simplification of the model, is that it is just bags. There is a ring. One thing that makes us different is we do utilize the ring for teaching, but also for sparring for certain clients of certain programs. We have 2 main programs, a fitness boxing and contact program. And we have found that to be perfect to serve the 2 different demographics we attract, because I've seen boxing gym owners struggle with this, is they'll sometimes kind of mishmash those programs together or not have a clear distinction between the 2. And then someone who doesn't want to get in the ring and get hit is scared to come in, or scared to come in on certain days, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We have 2 clear programs. One is more focused on fitness while still teaching real technique, but you never get hit. The other one is contact, where you truly learn it like a martial art. But in that program, we've also produced multiple Golden Glove champions from scratch.
All right. And I just want to know, do you get the bell? Do you get to ring?
Yeah, you get all that. Yeah, you get all that. You get all that. You get all the great stuff, none of the bad stuff.
All righty. So what do you find are the biggest challenges that you see just for first-time business owners that are trying to open up a boxing club?
That's a great question. So, and it really applies across the board, really, with any fitness, but truly definitely with boxing. So oftentimes, well, you tell me, Dory, who do you think is going to be the type of person typically to want to open up a boxing club? What do you think?
Okay. For me, it's...
Yeah, what do you think?
It's your male, athletic, maybe, again, it's just that stereotypical guy.
Yeah.
He has the martial arts or the wrestling background, but I don't see the female. I just, right off the bat, seeing the female opening the gym.
True. Well, that's very true. Very true there. And so what that leads to, because what you literally made the exact profile of that person typically. And so what that leads to is they create an environment that without thinking about it, is not really female friendly. And also just being a guy, I suffer from this too. When I started running my own place, was my wife told me, you don't need to mug everyone that comes to the door, like mean mug them, because you have this, you're thinking that somebody is going to maybe try to challenge you or something like that. But little did I know that actually, if you meet people with kindness, that's real confidence, and they feed off that. And so it's really cool to see specifically guys come through our door and they'll be standoffish, kind of tough guy acting. And then we just kill them with kindness. And then they warm up and they go, oh man, cool. I can relax. I don't need to put on a front. And so it's just a really beautiful thing. It's like, we're real proud, Dory, about how we get these real like macho type guys. And then, we don't take away the good parts of the macho, but we get rid of that excess ego and help them, get in touch with themselves and be a little bit more truly confident. But anyway, so that type of person is the type of person that starts the business. They started off because they like boxing or they like fitness or they like combat sports. All right. And that's the majority of boxing gyms or any type of combat, facility of any type is started like that. And so the challenge is that they think that their passion and their interest alone will create a successful business. But the challenge is that won't work. And of course, something never like a pandemic would ever happen to wipe you out, but it might. And if it does, it's going to reveal who did their homework or not. So when you open up your own boxing business or any fitness business or any business of any of that nature, the key word is business. So you have to embrace the fact that you have to become a business owner and you have to do what all the other business owners do. That's boring, that's lame. But the way that it was framed to me that really helped me was realizing that, okay, in order to do what I want to do, I have to do the hard stuff first, right? And I have to get really good at that. And that is what built up the base so that now I don't work in the location that I own, and anything that I do in there, maybe a little staff related stuff. And then I get to work with some of our fighters, here and there, but I make a living off the business and everything else, so I have, I don't have to go to like some other job or whatever.
So I love to ask this question when I have, for example, a guest on that's a bar studio owner. We know that most of their members walking through the door are going to be females. And I always like to say, what do you do to try to get the males in, right? So I'm going to take that question and ask you, what do you do to try to get the females or maybe like the older postmenopausal type woman through your doors?
Yeah, that's a great question. With aggressive marketing, but also the marketing is based all around the fitness aspect, the fun aspect, things like that. We don't spend any focus worrying about trying to legitimize us as a boxing facility, because a mentor of mine early on told me, he's like, dude, Keith, don't worry about it. Those people will come. Because it was back like maybe 2015. And I, was really like, oh man, I want to grow this thing as me as a boxing coach and have a business that works. He's like, Keith, don't worry about it. The fighters will come. People that, want to do that stuff, they'll come. You don't need to market to them. Market to the general public, the ladies and the guys that don't, because it's funny. People will literally think about still, even with all the marketing we do for like my location, still think about coming to us for about 2 years sometimes before they get enough courage to walk through the door. And so that, of course, goes into the systems of our business. Like we have an extensive sales follow-up that we do and everything else, because the moment someone raises their hand and had that little moment of courage, let's say, or interest, we want to make sure that, we serve them to the best of our ability. And again, like I said, that first impression is key. On average, I believe research says it takes about 7 times or 7 re-encounters to undo a bad first impression. So we want to make sure we do it right the first time.
I can believe that. Now, if somebody came up to you, you're at a fitness conference and they realize who you are and they come up to you and they say, hey, what is your advice if I wanted to start my own boxing business?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I would say start with the end in mind. So start with what you want to have at the end of your business journey. So if you want to be a sole proprietor, cool. If you want to be a hobby, cool. That's how a lot of people start a business and they don't really truly embrace that in the beginning. So if you want to do that, great. If you want to have something that you can actually make a living off of, again, embrace the fact that you're going to have to build systems. You're going to have to do the boring work. But also, I would say this has been my key point from growing our business, but also stepping into a whole new business, which is a franchise business, is getting around people that are further along than you are and realize that no one is actually better than you. They're actually just further along. And everything is learnable and everything is hard before it is easy. So it's just realizing that, hey, if you're not very good with, let's say, sales, let's say maybe systems and policies and procedures, just accept that fact, but embrace that in order to actually have a business that operates and is going to actually make money and not just break even, you're going to have to do that.
I love your quote there. Get around people that are further than you are. That is a great quote. I think I might use that.
Thank you. And I'll tell you a tip real quick for people to do that, because it's something I used to struggle with, Dory, a lot. It's like, how do I find, because we're in Athens, Georgia. There's not that many people here. Yeah, it's a college town, but whatever. People are coming and going all the time. And I was just like, man, how do I get around people that know what I need to know so I can, model them and learn from them? And what I've found, and it's been correct 2 times. So it's been correct with growing our business and correct with growing a franchise. When you're actually doing the work that it needs to be done and really committing yourself to victory with it, you will, when you come across somebody who is at a higher level, they will see that and they will respect that. And then when you reach out to them, they'll know that you're the real deal and they'll be happy to help you. I've helped out so many people who are below our level who have come to me that I've seen what they've been doing with their feet, not what they've been doing with their mouth. And so that's really the biggest thing is when people above you see you really working hard at what you're doing and being willing to learn and have humility, they'll be happy to help you.
Oh, well, thank you so much you have great advice for anybody out there listening that is contemplating opening a boxing gym, or if they weren't before this episode, maybe they are now. And we will make sure that we put your contact information in our show notes so they can reach out to you and maybe ask you questions that I didn't ask you, or maybe just, additional questions that they can think of.
I'm always happy to help. And one thing, it's funny, I'll attest to that fact that when I sometimes get on sales calls with people interested in the franchise, and maybe they're not a great fit for the franchise because they really just want to start their own thing, right? I always do my best to leave them with some type of, some type of tool, some type of advice, something they can take away from that. And if they implement it, it's going to make a big difference.
Fantastic. Well, listen, I'd love to check out one of your clubs. I just want to make sure I get the robe, the belt, and the bell. Many thanks to Keith for coming onto the show today to share his insight with all of you, our FBP family. Hey, have questions for Keith? Head to the show notes at fitness.Podcast.com for all of Keith's contact information. I'm sure he would love to hear from you. Oh, and I believe you wanted me to remind you how we can make your life easier. Go to fitness.Podcast.com and subscribe to the show so it's emailed directly to you. How simple. Coming up next, an introduction to next week's guest, Pete Peranio. Looking for a gym wipe that is gentle on fitness equipment, but tough on eliminating germs? Look no further. Vapor Fresh gym wipes are specifically designed to be safe on all gym equipment. And the fact that they are the only plant-based disinfectant wipe on the market makes them the top choice. Vapor Fresh wipes come in 2 convenient sizes. The smaller canister is perfect for home gyms and boutique studios, and the jumbo refill roll fits perfectly into the dispensers. Vapor Fresh wipes, 100% happiness guaranteed.
Hi, this is José Teixeira from Massive Fitness Portugal, and I was a guest on show 268 and 290. I want to say congratulations to the Fitness Business Podcast on hitting 1 million downloads. Great achievement. Thanks to the amazing content from guests, support from partners, and your listeners coming back every week. And thanks you to listen to my episodes, or will listen now to my episodes to help us get to 2 million. Search 268 and 290 at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com.
Quickfire 5, sponsored by Hapana.
Pete Peranio, founder and president of Empirepreneur, is next week's guest. Let's hear what book he recommends for all of our FBP family. It is time for Quick Fire 5 with our industry expert, Pete Peranio. Pete is the founder and president of Empirepreneur. Welcome, Pete, to Quick Fire 5.
Thanks for having me. I love this podcast, the Fitness Business Podcast. I've listened to many episodes on it, so I love what you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm just grateful that you decided to come on and talk to all of our listeners out there. We deem you as an industry expert, so we can't wait to hear what you have to say. But first, we have to get through 4 fun questions, and then you get a chance to pitch your episode for next week. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, question number 1. What is a life lesson that you learned from the pandemic?
Wow, one lesson?
Just one.
I'd have to say be grateful and also appreciate your freedoms.
Okay, very good answer. I like that one. Number 2, if you could play a character in any movie, I can't wait to hear what character you're going to play and why.
I have to say Rocky, just because it was my favorite movie as a kid. Every summer you're waiting for that, new series to come out. And plus, it's a story of perseverance and, overcoming, and that's entrepreneurship and sports. And that's 2 things I love. So I'd say Rocky.
Rocky is a good one, but I have to ask you, do you like the Creed series?
Not so much. The originals are the best.
The OG, right? The OG. All right. Here we go. Question number 3. Please complete this statement. Sunday morning, you can find me ...
Typically reading, reflecting, rejuvenating, training my dog Maverick. If it's baseball season, traveling with the family to see my son who plays college baseball. We love to do that on the weekends too. So, yeah.
Okay. So is Maverick named after the infamous Tom Cruise from Top Gun?
Well, no, but the funny thing is we have said if we get another dog, we're gonna have to name it Goose. So we didn't name it after him, but it's kind of a funny story in the family now that we're gonna have to get one that's Goose.
All right, talk to me, Goose. Okay, moving on. I'm showing my age here. Moving on. What is your number one book recommendation for all of our FBP family out there?
This is a tough one because I'm a big believer in consuming a lot and picking and choosing. But if I had to pick one, I'd have to say E-Myth by Michael Gerber, primarily because as a young entrepreneur, that was really the game changer for me when I started to think about systems, and that changed my business entirely. So I definitely have to say E-Myth.
That's a good one. We get that one every once in a while. So FBP family out there, if you haven't read that one or listened to it, if you're an audio book junkie like myself, yes, make sure you put that on your list.
If you're in the early stages of your business, for sure. So,
all right. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Moving on to our final, it's really not a question. It's really just you now get the mic to pitch your episode for next week. So go ahead and take it away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're a ambitious fitness entrepreneur and you're looking to build a fitness business that runs without you working 24/7, sacrificing your own health and relationships, and you want to learn how to make that more attainable, easier, get there faster, then tune in because I think you'll definitely get a bunch of aha moments.
Ooh, we love aha moments. All right, everybody, that is Pete Peranio, and he is going to speak about how to build a fitness business that runs without you. Mark your calendars for next week's show. Maybe, just maybe, your next business adventure will be inspired by next week's episode. Thank you to our founding partner, Active Management, our partners, Keep Me, MyZone, Discover Strength, ISSA, and Hapana, and our advertisers, Rex Roundtables, MX Metrics, and Vaporfresh. We believe what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but woven into the lives of others.